Welcome back, finally. At long last, ladies and gentlemen, we have another game to cast. It's only our third of the day. It's been a 7-hour stream. But hey, we'll take any Dota at this point. It's the Gameshow League, brought to you, of course, by Beyond the Summit. And it's happening live at DreamHack Moscow right now. Venue looks pretty nice. Everyone seems happy, but well, the Dota has been slow to come by today with all the internet and connectivity issues. And good news, we finally have ourselves a ball game. And the draft begins, so let's hop into it. The really odd ban here is that Drow Ranger ban by Na'Vi. I have not seen all of NVMI's recent games, but I don't seem to recall anything about Drow. I'm actually going to do a little research while this draft continues. So they banned Drow, which seems a little curious to me, but maybe Godblack's certainly not afraid to bust out those niche heroes, and it wouldn't surprise me if he had run it recently. And I should mention, this is going to be interesting because Godblack was the Na'Vi coach at TI4, and they didn't do so hot. So wondering if Godblack is going to show that it wasn't his fault that they had troubles there. But yeah, doing a little research here. In the meantime, Lycan first pick by Na'Vi. They do give away the Dire Lycan on the side of NVMI. It's a lot to give up, and I guess the question is going to be, is this return good enough? They got a Scarith Mage and a Death Prophet, and generally when we see teams run Lycan, the goal is crush the Lycan in the lanes. We've seen aggressive Darkseer Batrider dual lane from EG. Sometimes teams will run an aggressive tri-lane Axe or even an Axe +1, maybe dual lanes. They'll go for a lot of smoke ganks, early pressure. But we rarely see teams just let the Lycan free farm. If they do, they generally have a bad time. And okay, they've run Drow. Is that right? Really, 8 times. They've run Drow 8 times and they're 5-3 on the hero. Okay, this must have just been games I was not casting. Remember, I did take a bit of a break when Starlighter picked up, so my apologies for not being as thoroughly researched as I would like to be. But yeah, I guess it's something they have run before, and I'm sure Na'Vi have the reasons for banning it. As we enter the second stage of ban, so neither team with too much teamfight control here. The Void was the main teamfighter ban out first phase. The one that's really just fallen off the face of the earth is the Tidehunter lately, and I guess the main reason is teams just feel like Void offers them a bit more of a carry, and if you want someone who's a better initiator and can constantly go for those ganks, there's heroes like Batrider that have been increasingly popular, especially in the CIS scene. Funix Batrider has been magnificent. He played 8 games at Starlighter. I think he played Batrider like 5 or 6 of those and won pretty much every Bat game, so no surprises that was removed. And with that said, NVMI, they'll ban out these strong landing supports. They remove the Undying, they ban out the Mirana, which can also be played as a core, potentially. And now it's going to leave Na'Vi struggling to hang on in the laning stage against Skyreth. I think that's really the goal here for Godblack squad, is get out to an early lead with the Skyreth Mage, hopefully take a tower once Centaur gets level 6, maybe set up a kill or 2 with Stampede, and just kind of snowball the lanes from here. So they will get the Centaur Warrunner, and this is somewhat along the lines of the Axe that I mentioned versus Lycan. We saw this a lot from DK back at Starladder. This was before Centaur got the nerf to his monopool, so he could use Stomp 2-3 times in the lane, even from level 1, and trade pretty effectively with supports. But it was always with an Exort Invoker backing him up to allow him to be aggressive and turn those early Stomps into kills. Not really seeing any kind of global presence for Na'Vi yet, and, well, Denny's Tinker was already removed, so they won't have anything too crazy in that regard. Instead, we see Na'Vi go for a bit of an armor strat, I guess you would say. A lot of debuff potential from the Venge here, from the Wave of Terror, as well as the negative Vengeance R if she dies, not to mention the Dazzle Grave, the Dazzle Ultimate, which will also reduce your opponent's armor, so their physical burst is insane. But Na'Vi are very single target heavy, and they only have 1 real stun so far, which is the Magic Missile. So it does make me worry a little bit against Death Prophet. It's a hero that can kite very easily, and when there's Stampede in the mix, you want to have that extra level of lockdown. So I'm wondering what they're going to do for that. NVMI now moving to their 4th pick. If they want to punish the Dazzle, well, nah, that's not going to happen. I would love to see an Axe. I also think he does match up well against Lycan, but when you already have Centaur, they kind of fill a similar niche, so probably not going to see that. Yeah, they'll go Razor instead. So they get a hero that, again, matches up well against the melee carry in Lycan, Death Prophet and Razor. That's a tough matchup for the Wolf, honestly. And to me, it's very important that Na'Vi have that powerful start. Don't have to win the lanes, but have to get the Lycan off to a quick start. At least get his levels if they want to send him mid, or potentially if they send him safe lane. Just make sure that he doesn't get shut down early by a Razor. And I'm wondering if NVMI will go aggressive with the Razor Skywrath +1. Goblek's tree has been removed, but he's been running some Abaddon recently, and definitely here they could turn to. And with that being said, the Dendi Puck comes up the board, and I've talked about this combo before, but I think Puck and Lycan are a match made in heaven. Reason being that Lycan gives you tons of physical damage, so it's nice to have some magic damage to balance things out, so your opponents can't just go Scepters and kite you completely. The other reason is that Puck benefits a lot from Howl, has a pretty good he's pretty good at trading with Phase Shift, and with Howl damage, he can actually win a lot of 1v1 matchups where he otherwise would break even. But most importantly, when you get to the mid game, Coil and the Wolf Arm are brilliant partners. All Lycan needs is for heroes to be held in place, and that's exactly what Puck offers with Dream Coil. So I really like these two heroes together. It's a classic Dendi hero. It also gives them a way to deal with the Centaur, perhaps, prevent the Stampede initiation. The silence can be very crucial here, so I like the pick. At the same time, Skywrath Mage and Death Prophet can give Puck absolute fits. Mainly the Skywrath with the instant silence from... No, I don't want to watch the training video, Dota. Yeah, with the instant silence from Ancient Seal. So it's a bold pick in that sense, but there is a Dazzle back out. There's a defensive swap as well, and well, final set of bans here. NVMI are expecting the carry Venge, I think, for Havost. We've seen it a few times before. Na'Vi will ban out the Abaddon I mentioned that Goblek has been running a lot recently. It's kind of been revitalized, you might say. And now our fifth pick from NVMI. What's it going to be? We'll need some sort of support here to go with the Skywrath Mage. Maybe like an Earthshaker wouldn't be too bad. Sand King, perhaps. I think they'll want some sort of lockdown, because right now all they've really got is the Centaur, and that is not the most reliable stun. But they'll wait on this last pick. Well, meanwhile for Na'Vi... Oh, they'll go Visage. Alright. Well, no Drow Ranger, which was banned in the first phase by Na'Vi. So they don't get Visage's favorite buddy, but it's still a potent duo. And on that note, we're going to get into it quickly here. So Na'Vi versus NVMI, well underway. We introduce the teams now. Na'Vi on the Dire side, I believe, sitting at 2-1. I'm actually going to see if I can bring up the standings real quickly. Because they've been playing like 2-3 matches at a time. Some matches have been postponed and moved around. Best of my knowledge, NVMI are 2-2 right now. Na'Vi are 2-1. So NVMI with a loss here would be on the cusp of potentially not advancing out of the group stage. Only the top 4 teams do. With that said, we'll go through the teams here. Na'Vi, FNG will be playing your Venge. Pretty cool set, actually. I haven't seen this one before. You'll have Havost on the carry Lycan Safelink. Vangscore, support Dazzle. So it's not gonna be a carry Venge in the end. They kind of guessed wrong on that one, I guess NVMI did with the Shadow Demon ban. Denny will be going Puck mid, and that does leave Funnick as the offlane Darkseer. So Darkseer, interesting choice, but you know I kind of like it because it gives Na'Vi a bit of AoE punch, which they were lacking, and gives you some synergy with the Puck. Also a hero that can just against these 0 stun tri-lanes can really pose problems. So. I think it could be a very good matchup. And on the side of NVMI, you have Lil playing the support Visage. Goblek will be on the Skywrath Mage. For once, doesn't have a defensive support. Illidan on the Razor. That puts Scandal mid on the Death Prophet. And last but not least, DK Phobos as your offlane Centaur. So the lanes will get underway soon. Well, Invisrin picked up by Goblek. Let's see. Radiant team dropped their Observer Ward afterwards, so... Potential here for Na'Vi to go for a D ward if they have any sentries, but currently don't. So both teams will have their vision in the lane. Just one. I want to do a quick smoke check because we've seen a lot of early aggression from Na'Vi, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case this time around. No smoke up of FNG, no smoke up on Vangscore. They are just going to look to zone out this Centaur early on. And he gets a pretty good creep walk, DK Phobos does. So he'll have a nice start in this lane. They didn't see this rune get picked up. Problem is, no stuns. Not much killing potential here. But they might be able to keep the Darkseer back a little bit as the lane pushes in. And he only gets 1 creep of experience, so still a long way off from that level 2. There are no stuns. There is the Skyrest Silence, but the issue is just, do they have the burst damage? They'll need to get like 2 Arcane Bolts off with the Silence, probably Razor stealing some damage, and then a Soul Assumption to get a kill, so... And probably like 2-3 auto attacks from the Razor, so I think that's a pretty low percentage kill lane, but... Funnick just feeling like the lane's going to be pushed against him. It's not really worth his time to have a slow item progression. He'll be the mech builder for this team and wants to get it up as quickly as possible, so just immediately goes to the woods. He'll be here... I think in time to kill the medium camp and stack the big camp. It'll be pretty close anyway. And he gets lucky. No golems yet, so Funnick's going to be happy about that. And he will Godblack make his way towards that rune. And we will have a quick pause. What else is new? I don't think I've ever spent more time streaming for less games cast. This has to be a record. Averaging like 2 hours and change per game in terms of total stream time. But worth it. The 2 games have actually been really good. It's just a shame we haven't gotten more of them in. But I'm hoping tomorrow the internet will be stable. It seems like it's been a bit better today. FNG wraps around on DK Phobos top lane. Doesn't really have a whole lot he can do here. As we see Funnick not able to kill off that medium camp in time, but he will stack the big camp and continue farming it, so... Yeah, he's still doing reasonably well, considering that he had to make that rotation. Does free up the NVMI supports a little bit, whereas the offlane Centaur for DK Phobos, still a bit of a nuisance in this lane. But he does have to be careful. The physical damage that the Venge can bring to bear once she hits level 2, in conjunction with the Lycanthrope Pal and some right clicks from Dazzle, who, by the way, Dazzle... not really thought of as a heavy damage dealer early on unless you get a heal bomb. He's got a really nice attack animation, so he can hit pretty hard with the Hal, as well as the minus armor from Venge. But yeah, he's actually gone for an early point in Shallow Grave. Very defensive build, maybe expecting a gank on Dendi mid. And if that's the case, yeah, already has a TP scroll picked up, so I think he's worried about Godblack ganking this mid lane early with the Ancient Seal. The issue is, like, if he ganks the lane, he also needs to catch Dendi in an awkward position. Because you can silence him, but then this puck most likely just runs away. So they would probably need to bring the Visage in for that as well. And with this Observer Ward, it's quite likely to be scouted out. Look at our mid lane so far, 14-4 on the Death Prof, 11-2 on the puck, so Dendi getting slightly out CS, which I think is to be expected, but he does have Hal damage going his way, so... As Hal gets leveled up and as the lane progresses... Oh, a little bit late on the phase shift there for Dendi. Takes a lot of harassment from Scandal. This bottle is coming. Yeah, I would honestly expect him to do a bit better with Hal. But it's been a well-played lane so far from Scandal. Both heroes with their early Null Talisman. Now the Courier coming into Funnick. He'll get his early bottle. Looks like he may check the 4-minute rune after a stack. Maybe Dendi heads towards bottom just to try and keep both of these runes covered. The Lord forward, starting to lay in the harassment to Scandal, but doesn't really want to go up on the high ground. Another phase shift there. And they will TP Vangscore in bottom lane. Looks like they want to give him the experience, so they'll leave Funnick in the jungle, try to get his mech farm up as quickly as possible, and a haste rune spawns top. But it's Scandal who gets there first, just inches before FNG. He may actually go for this. No, doesn't have his bottle with him. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think if he has his bottle, he goes for a first blood attempt there. Or at least forces out the puck rotation fully. Still, denying that to Dendi's pretty big, because he's about to hit level 6, and you do not want the puck to be running around with the haste rune at level 6. That's a really high kill potential rune. Especially when you're looking at a Skyreth Mage who's only level 3, fairly squishy. Visage who's incredibly squishy with the 0 base armor and how damage going against him. Funnick rotating towards another stack that's been created. This is actually a triple stack. Centaur might be able to leech this experience, but the gold should go Funnick's way, so he's going to have a really fast start. He's, despite starting bottom lane, hits level 5 already, and this mech is coming out very early on. Anything on the courier yet? No, but I have like the completed buckler, probably the Reign of Regen, and maybe the headdress recipe after the stack's done. Just a little bit short of that, I think. But yeah, this is going to be like a 10-minute mech. Or 8-9 minute mech, I think, actually, with this stack. And that will allow Na'Vi to take some aggressive fights. You look at NVMI on the other side, their offlaner in the Centaur is not going to farm any core items anytime soon. As he throws out the double edge just to get a little bit of farm. Only 6 CS. They're mid and Scandal. Maybe Scandal or I guess the Razor could build it, but for now has gone Shreds, the SE, so look for Na'Vi to have the mech first, and I imagine with that they may look for a fight. That's probably when we'll see them make a move. Wondering if NVMI will go for a move anytime soon either. And he's caught up nicely though in this lane, and he's holding his own as they rotate in top lane. They've got on DK Phobos. The Howl damage does a lot here as FNG and Havos try to chase him down, but Lil rotates in just in the nick of time. DK Phobos will salve up, barely surviving from that damage. And the Crypt Swarms just keep on coming. Denny is not having fun in this lane. But you see the kill potential already. Even against the Centaur. Fairly tanky and durable here with boots and a magic wand. Still almost brought down in that fight. Also wondering what Havost is going to go. He hasn't started to build a Vlad's yet. Considering that they're dire side, as we see Funnick rotate back bottom, he's going to start creep skipping. Now noticing that they had rotated in the Visage top. He knows this lane's a lot safer for him to get aggressive. So he starts to creep skip behind the tower. Hits level 7. And has gone back for the Soul Ring, so he won't have a particularly fast mech. Looks like Dendy's going to need the courier for some bottle crow of his own, because he is just constantly under the gun mid lane. They'll even have to bring in some support for the Dazzle. Scandal may not be killing him or out-farming him too much, but he is putting a lot more pressure on. As Funnick TP's home. Forcing these supports to hang around mid and not getting kills during that time. Now Goblek and Lil. They're grouped up in the woods. Are they going to go for a rotation? No smoke. They do have a lane ward, I think, ready to go. Na'Vi got their hill ward down first. Both teams now with the hill ward, so dire side sees across the hill. Radiant does as well. Will be a bit tougher to find these ganks mid now. And FNG's just looking for an opening top lane, but the magic missile's not enough. They'll need more damage to follow this up. And Funnick finally, he rolls the dice and they come up bad for him. First golems at the medium camp. This one he had earlier, but that one you don't really need to worry about farming at this stage. Well, it'll slow him down a bit. Still, they have Ion Shell, and they're... Oh, this is cheeky. He throws it on the wolf. This will be a real nuisance for these supports. It's the double wolf. The double wolf bomb. Special tactics. DK Phobos is like, what the hell is this, man? It's cute, but no kills yet. But I think we'll see that come into play later. And you know, I was gonna say there's a chance he goes Midas, but it's just pretty unusual to see it on Lycan these days. Normally we see teams just love to get the early Vlads or Medallion and secure Roshan as quickly as possible, but he's been uncontested, and I suppose you look at NVMI, they're strong late game, but the Lycan is always going to be a problem. There's your coil top. This will be the first blood attempted. Orb coming in onto DK Phobos. He's still a Stampede, though. It's kind of an airball. Na'Vi looking for first blood, but no opportunities, really. And as soon as they see this rotation, Scandal nose coils down. He gets aggressive. There's only the one other stun right now. Not a single point yet in Poison Touch, so only way to cancel TP is going to be FNG until coil cools down. So Death Prophet can play up a lot. And it will be Illidan going for mech. So Buckler recipe picked up, headdress completed. He'll have his Buckler in about 300 gold or so, and well, from there the question is how long until Funnick gets his mechanism. He's gone for a lot of regen items. The bottle, the soul ring, and now building the mech. He'll be set for the rest of the game once he gets it, but it will delay the mech progression a bit. Still no action, really. There are some defenses. I guess the thing is there's a lot of elusive heroes in this game. Mobile heroes like the Darkseer, not too many stuns. You've got Shallow Grave TPs to worry about. Like, you know, his ultimate. Not the easiest game to find kills around the map. This Dendy continues to get pummeled mid. He's still keeping up in terms of CS overall, but it's just annoying to lane against Death Prophet. You just can't outspam her. With the 4-second cooldown Crypt Swarm. Does a lot of damage, 300, which is, for a 4-second nuke, pretty ridiculous. And she hits reasonably hard as well. Over 100 a pop with the phase boots. And the null tally. But the main thing at this point is, it's not about winning the lane here, it's just getting the Blink Dagger on Denny. Get your Blink on the puck, and then ideally just look for that first blood. You've got Darkseer, who offers a lot in these early game fights, and they will smoke now. They're making their movement towards top lane, pinging out the Centaur. But Scandal might end up being in position to reveal this one. Let's see if he gets caught, or if he ends up giving up the gank. It's going to be tough with DK Phobos' positioning. No swap skilled up yet. Only a level 5 Venge. They gotta get a... I don't know. If they go for the coil again, like, that's not going to be good enough. They really have to get the Centaur completely surrounded, and that's going to be the plan for Na'Vi. Wrapping around with FNG in front, preparing for the dive. The net will close a bit, and the noose will cinch, and right as DK Phobos stampedes, he does get caught. Then he gets vacuumed back into the wall, looking for the stampede. He won't actually, or the stomp rather, won't actually get it off, but Funnick's the one who gets caught out. He'll go down first to the ghosts. Meanwhile, on the backside of the engagement, Dendy trying to retreat out. He orbs over the tree line, makes his escape. While on the front side of the fight, it's Illidan, as well as Goblet combining to focus on FNG. Can't finish off the Venge, but do significant damage. And DK Phobos, with the even getting stunned mid-stampede, just had too much backup. 5 heroes came top. I mean, what are you going to do? 3 heroes smoke, you've got 1 in the lane, you're like, alright, we got this. There's no way they can defend against 4. Well, hey, maybe if they bring 5, they can. Still waiting for NVMI to take objectives, though. They get the first blood, which is still, I would say, definitely worth the exorcism. Not quite a tower, but still valuable. But haven't taken any actual towers yet. And when you're up against this Dire Lycan, you do not want them to maintain map control too much longer. Because Avost is getting close to his Vlads. Picks up his Mask of Death now. And if it comes to a Roshan fight, right now, I don't think Na'Vi are that strong. But as soon as they get the mech, the Blink Dagger on the puck, and just a few more levels in Dazzle, I think this will be a much easier engagement for them to take. Not to mention that they can always be drawing them back. They can split push out the top lane with the Lycan, and as soon as the TP rotation comes, they can just go directly into the pit. 1-point wave of terror should be enough to quickly secure a rush. And you gotta imagine NVMI are constantly worried about that. And Familiars are scouting right now, just in the neighborhood. Just doing a drive-by, you might say. Very slow game, 13 minutes in. The last game was bloody. We had like 15 kills at 8 minutes, but it's been a much more patient approach from both teams this time around. And VMI continue to pick up their core items with the Familiars out. They now work towards what looks to be a medallion on the Visage. They'll have a lot of armor to work with this game. And Medallion's a fantastic item for NVMI. They already have the physical damage that a Razor brings to the table when he gets Static Link, which he's actually entirely skipped because his lane was pretty much empty. There's not a ton of single target spells here, though. Mainly just the Venge. Uh-oh. Be careful, Funnick. Caught up by the Familiars, then silenced and insta-gibbed. NVMI. What a great gank. The lane ward set it up, but the Familiars just came swooping in from the rear, and he just wasn't ready for it. The question is if Na'Vi do anything during this time. They know Stampede's on cooldown for 80 seconds. Do they try to go to Roche? It looks like they might. I kind of like the idea of going Roche here. And already the pings are coming out from Goblak. He knows that's going to be the plan for Na'Vi. The question will become, can NVMI fight this? And I think the answer is yes. I don't think they need Stampede. They have the Yule Scepter up on the Death Prophet. Razor has a mechanism. I don't think Na'Vi can do this. Not to mention, this could get sniped by Familiars. One scouted out, and now we'll come in just to slow this Roche attempt. While NVMI prepare to go in. They've got the level 2 Exorcism as well. Scandal's had a really fast start. And they start looking for FNG. Up onto the high ground they go. Familiar slowed him down. Double stun is there, but actually the second stun won't connect. Meanwhile, Dendy's still waiting for a good coil opportunity. While he's waiting for that, they lose their Lycanthrope. He really can't do much at this point. NVMI just too strong as a death ball. But the Darkseer wall may keep them out a bit longer. Vangscore trying to TP out, won't be able to. Caught up by the Yules, now dropped down. It's a real mess in the pit for Na'Vi. And now it's up to Dendy to steal this Aegis. He's got to go for the blink in. Do NVMI prevent it? Surge forward from Funnick. He's going to try to back them back so that Dendy can jump in at exactly the right moment. But the Aegis goes the way of the Radiant and picked up by the Death Prophet. Now they'll lose Funnick. Oh, it's a total train wreck for Na'Vi. 3 heroes down for that one, and they give up the Aegis as well. Not to mention the Roche kill. Couldn't have been a worse trade. I mean, I like the thinking of, hey, they don't have Stampede, we can try and sneak a Roche, but they just underestimated NVMI's ability to fight without it. Death Prophet with a really fast duels, and Razor with an early mech. Just too much death ball power. And that's really a lot of the strength of Na'Vi's lineup is securing the early Roche. You not only do you deny it to NVMI when you grab it, and they're definitely a lineup that uses the Aegis well. The other issue is that you want that Aegis so you can just force towers. You can play more aggressively with these ganking-oriented supports like the Vengeful Spirit, the mid-tempo control on the puck. This takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of Na'Vi, and their economy is not in shambles by any means, but they were leading with the Midas pickup on the Host, and it's a 5k gold, or not gold swing, I guess you'd call it a net worth swing now. For anyone who didn't hear the news, the gold graph has been updated. It now shows net worth instead of gold earned, so much more reliable and useful as a tool. Although money can't solve all your problems in Dota. Just most of them. I think if you're NVMI now, you have Aegis, you're really strong, you should be forcing fights. And that's what they want to do. They've got a lane ward ready to spot out Vangscore bottom lane. If he just inches forward a few... Oh yeah, he's done for. Soul Assumption could come through momentarily. If they even need it. Yeah, just to secure the kill. A little plink from Lil. While top lane Scandal and Illidan are doing the hard hitting. They'll take down the tier 1 top. Will they defend bottom, though, is the question. The power of the Lycan is being able to go for these trades. Well, Na'Vi will get the tower trade. But now DK Phobos leaps in. He looks for the Funnick Stomp. He doesn't have mana for it. He actually doesn't have stick charges either. Still, a nicely placed Scarlet Mage Jolt from Goblak secures that kill, while Scandal dives deep for Dendy. Trying to phase shift and jaunt away. He will retreat out successfully, but gets nuked hard by the Visage. NVMI got a tower, and this is up to Havos to creep skip. He knows how desperate this already is. They can't fight head on, but his timing's off. The creeps have already gotten past him. They've slipped forward, and this will give NVMI a bit of a buffer working on this tower. I don't know what Na'Vi do. They have to split push. They have to backstab creep waves, try and snipe towers, maybe grab a courier kill. They are not fighting head on into NVMI. They were supposed to get Roche. They were supposed to find more kills with the Venge early, and it just didn't happen. NVMI played it perfectly, and already, having taken the tier 1 mid, they will defend bottom. They're not giving away any more free towers to this Lycan. And they know if they're not giving away towers and they're taking towers, there's no third option. Because Roche is down. Like, there's no way to pull the Na'Vi back in this game except maybe a smoke gank, but they're not really the best smoke ganking lineup. And who do you go on? Can't go on Death Prophet, Aegis and Yules. Razor's too tanky with the mech and point booster. Centaur can stampede anyone out, and he's already got 1400 health. Even the supports are pretty highly leveled. Goblak would be the one to kill. But then again, he's unlikely to get caught out this game. Given how many buffers he has in his way. All these beefy tanks in the front line. And they will plot a trail towards the bottom lane. Illidan clearing out the wave. And preparing for the push. NVMI pressing their advantage now. And I like this move from Na'Vi. Just split push. Try as best you can to avoid these confrontations. They are simply not winnable engagements. Not unless it's like a smaller skirmish. You can see even at the first sign of defense, they immediately retreat. But Scandal's going to keep the pressure up. This will force Vangscore just to sit back and wait for reinforcements to arrive. There's no glyph available though, and it looks like Avos will take the tower. The power of the wolf. DK Phobos trying to get forward for this, but the wolves will prevent his Blink Dagger from being available, and thus they will lose their tier 1 top. Still, they get a tier 2 as the trade. Now NVMI with a 1 tower advantage. The bigger concern is just how scary the next push is going to be, really, more than anything. Because we really haven't seen NVMI at their full fighting strength. They haven't had the Ags yet on the Razor. They just picked this up now. He didn't even really have Static Link leveled up until this point. Like, he had level 1 Static Link a couple of minutes ago. It doesn't really offer you that much. But now he's going to start to gain more damage. This is going to cause problems for Havost, who does build a BKB. But BKB is not like a get-out-of-jail-free card this game. It's all physical damage from NVMI, really. The Medallion, the Familiars, the Death Prophet ult, the Razor ultimate, the Static Link right clicks. I'd say they're like 80% physical damage over the course of a fight. You do have Skywrath, who can focus one hero down, but like as far as sustainable damage, their overall damage output is going to be vast majority physical. You do need the BKB though, because if you get caught by a Familiar Stun or Centaur Stomp, then you're just done for. Not to mention the Yules can just completely kite you during the fights, but the issue is going to be, like, he's gotten BKB, and I'm not convinced he can actually engage. Not without the absolute best vacuum wall you've ever seen. But they need one more level on Phonic. They're going to need the level 2 ultimate. And the other issue there is that wall just isn't that good this game. Like, you can't get images of the Familiars. You don't get the Death Prophet ult when you make an illusion of her. There's really not that many auras in NVMI that are... In fact, there's basically none. And you don't get Razor Static Link damage when you make an illusion of him. So basically, this is like the worst possible game for wall. Except that it is still wall, so it's always good. But there's no anti-mages here. There's no Morphling. There's nothing huge. But Phonic does have a blink. And NVMI are getting a little nervous about that. As the hero creep does a bit of dewarding mid lane. Looking pretty good for NVMI so far. They now lead by 6k gold, 3k experience, and they've just looked very patient this game. Systematic, not forcing unnecessary fights, just taking safe engagements, and it seems Na'Vi are starting to feel the pressure. They know the next push that comes from NVMI is threatening their base. There's no more buffer buildings. The tier 3 mid's nearly fallen. They've got to make a play soon. And they're going to try for it in the dire jungle, but there's no one here. Goblak and co are playing it safe. I gotta say, I feel like this NVMI team has much... They're really clicking. Like, I remember watching Virtus Pro when Illidan was playing, and I don't know what was going on in some of those games. Like, he would get an Aegis, and then on the dire side, and then he would just run, like, all the way up here. And I remember he just died to 5 heroes over here. The rest of his team was, like, over there. And I was just scratching my head. And I'm not saying it was on him. Maybe the team was fighting, maybe there's miscommunication, but that was Illidan's old team. And looking at Scandal and Power Rangers, obviously fantastic individual talent, but the team often wasn't on the same page as him. But this NVMI squad, so far, they seem to have a very clear game plan. And now in NVMI, they do get caught out here. The Vac Wall immediately kills out the Scarlet Mage, now trying to focus down Illidan, but he begins to have his damage stolen. Foe's still getting the kill. Really quick burst damage from him, brings down one. Can he kill off Scandal as well? This Wolf's doing a lot of work. Maybe it's enough to turn the fight, although Havost now drops low, and Scandal still has his ghosts out. But that's about as good of an engagement as you're ever going to get. Perfect Blink Vac. The follow-up was there with the coil. And even with the perfect jump, it's a win for Na'Vi, but not an outrageous win by any means. Killing off that Razor quickly was big, though. Had he lived much longer, then they're going to start losing a lot of damage for Havost. And honestly, I would not mind a Ghost Scepter this game, because as much physical damage as NVMI have, Na'Vi is very physical damage focused too. Dazzle is all physical damage, and obviously Lycan is, Venge, pretty much all. Ghost Scepter would not be a bad choice this game by any means. The puck does hit pretty hard with nukes, but I think just being able to live a few seconds longer against the Lycan would be really nice. If not that, then even something like a Force Staff or just raw armor is okay, which appears to be the route for Illidan. Scandal completed the Shivas. He's going to work towards an Assault Cuirass. And for Na'Vi, it's a very quick Roshan respawn. And they're going to go directly into the pit and try to claim this one. With the HAL damage, it will drop fast. The puck joins the fray, but Illidan's going to strut in. Plasma Field's there. It's too late. Roche has already fallen. He starts to steal damage, but it's quickly removed. Now the back to Scarth Magel. Dendy's kept alive for the time being by the Shallow Grave, and now retreating off the fight, he'll tank another orb from the Skywrath as Havost BKBs and heads for the hills. But the Familiars are here. They're going to Yules up the Darkseer. They'll look to finish off Phonic. He's not the Aegis carrier, though, so they're not going to lose it. They then silence Fangscore, and they find the Darkseer kill. They look for the Dazzle, and they'll get him, too. It's a double kill for NVMI. Na'Vi do escape with their Aegis. And they do have a Basher now on Havost. A much-needed item. He needs this lockdown. This is absolutely essential against the kiting power of a Razor and Death Prophet. But I wonder if NVMI just forced this. They have their ultimate up on the Death Prophet. Coil is ready. Darkseer does have his combo ready. I don't think they want to be too aggressive. But yeah, it looks like they maybe just want to force out the buyback. And they're going to back. They saw what happened the last time they got caught by the back, and this time Havost has the Aegis. Not really the best Aegis carrier of the Lycan, but still, end of the day, it's a carry that gets to sit around and right-click quite hard if you get a good Dream Coil. And just one bash can be enough to win them the fight. But I think NVMI are still in fine shape, despite giving up the Aegis there. They get 2 kills. They still have great heroes to match up against Lycan later on. They just need to get more farm on them. Get the AC up on the Razor, maybe get his heart next, or some other HP item. Your Death Prophet heart is coming pretty soon. Ags is out on the Visage. It's going to get to the point where Lycan runs in and just dies, if they play it right. But mid lane, Godlike's been caught out by the Yule Scepter of Dendi and quickly will drop. Nice pick off there for Navi. And they'll need more of those plays. Meanwhile, top lane Scandal is getting aggressive. He's just chewing on the tier 2 tower. Is there going to be any TP reaction from this? Oh, Dendi got caught out mid. The rest of the team was trying to retreat out, but he gets great defensive play from Vangscore. Now give him additional armor. He will blink out just in the nick of time. Illidan's doing a bit of damage, but not a ton. As FNG retreats, he wants to swap out perhaps, but it's only level 1 swap. Can't do it, and they might lose more for this. Ah, has Dendi pulled his team into a bad fight? It looks like it. Funnick will fall as well. 2 more down the drain. They got the support Skywrath, but hardly worth it. The good news is that Exorcism was used before NVMI got to the base. So if they push in here, they're not going to have their main damage source on buildings. But hey, that being said, they've got an Axe up on Visage, and the buildings are exposed. Darkseer's dead for 30. Remember, that's a dieback from him, so I guess it doesn't matter. Navi are just going to lose racks, thanks to the dieback. With the Darkseer here, I don't know that Envy might do this, but without him, Navi can't hang on. They'll lose their first lane of racks. They may end up getting caught out from the back, though. Havost is waiting to try and turn this one. But he gets caught out by a stun. DK Phobos was ready for this. They pop the Aegis immediately. Lycan is coming back with BKB and ult. I don't know if they want to stick around for this. He's going to ult and just run. The Rack's barely living on about 100 HP. While Denny pursues. Just hunting familiars, not actually going for heroes. Oh, I can't believe it lived. It was sub 100 HP. And Scandal's probably just saying it. Oh, he's actually telling his teammate to snipe it, I think. I don't know, just hide his familiars from Dendi. Yeah, they'll need more than one familiar to kill off that Rax. But yeah, Scandal's just like, you know what, guys? We done screwed up. We didn't finish Rax. Let's go down there with Death Prophet ult. We'll just use Exorcism and gut their base. And so 28 minutes in, it's a 10,000 gold lead, a little bit more for Team NVMI. About a 3,000 experience lead. But the big thing for me is that they're against a Lycan and Avenge. Even with just the 1 point in the Vengeance Art, it's still a lot of right-click damage, and they have all their tier 2s. They don't have an exposed tier 3. They don't have an exposed Rax. So they have at least 1 or 2 bad fights that they can give away before they'd be in danger of losing their base. That's some much-needed wiggle room to have against the Lycan. And Navi are playing this one a little bit scared at this point. Grouping up as 4. But they gotta know this push is coming. And it is. Right down the mid lane. DK Phobos and Illidan in front. Scandal not far behind them, and Godlike joining the party as well. Lil is not here. He's using the Familiar to stall out the bottom lane, but he can resummon the full triple stack of Familiars. Do they go with this wave, or do they wait one more? That's gonna be the question. Spamming out the wave with Scandal. Will Navi just try to stall this one? Static Link's there on for Illidan, but only steals just a little scooch of damage. Not much to write home about. And VMI still, I think, waiting one more wave, but this is going to be a problem. The Lycan Wolves are cutting off the mid wave, so they'll stall this push a bit. It does mean this wave will arrive a bit later, giving that second wave time to bunch up, but now Iron Shelled Wolves come in and start sniping the creeps. Oh man, this is just painful to watch. But Familiars will be here, and I think they might just mech this wave and force it, brute force it. Dendy waiting. He's got everybody on the sidelines. Funix here as well. Get prepared for a combo. Surging himself. Does he actually go in? He's got to go soon because they're about to lose their racks. And now the Wolf comes in first. BKB on Havos. The Vac's a decent one to follow it up. Dendy looks for a Dream Coil and does throw it out, but it only managed to catch 2 heroes who are fairly survivable. Scandal and Illidan chasing forward. Navi just can't hold, and Havos is off the fight. He just can't stand against the Razor and Death Prophet. It's too much anti-carry. Just not enough burst damage to kill these 2 beefcakes off. And this will force out a Dendy buyback, but it's a puck buying back with no coil. They don't have the Vac wall anymore, and the base has fallen. They've lost their first lane of racks. NVMI just brute forcing it. And you can see when NVMI execute properly and have all their cooldowns ready that it just gets to a point where the vacuum wall coil, it was really strong 10 minutes ago, but at this point, your Death Prophet illusions, as mentioned, they're not getting Exorcism. They don't hit that hard. Same for the Razor illusions. The Assault Cuirass will actually help them a bit. Navi will get the benefit of that if they get a Vac wall and Illidan later on. But yeah, they just survive the combo and then turn. And in that case, didn't get the best Vac wall. Unfortunately, only caught a few heroes. And with exposed racks at that point, if you let Death Prophet get to the base, even if you win the fight, you're still giving up a lane of racks. That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. So Navi will look for something again. Dendy grouping up with Avos. They'll make their way up the river. He knows this is Abyssal Blade, but wants to save for buyback for now. And they'll start farming this Radiant jungle. But Scandal comes in. Oh, Yule's one. The stun's there in Vangscore. They annihilate the Dazzle on the backside of the fight. Well, the Familiars pursue out FNG. That's going to be a dead Vengeful Spirit, most likely. Can Dendy save him? Familiar stun's there. The triple stun. The follow-up Soul Assumption. Great Visage play from Lil. Perfectly executed. And now they draw the line bottom lane. They say straight in. Maybe we push in mid and then go bottom, but there's no reason to wait any longer. Let's take this win. Let's take Navi down a peg. NVMI, we're 2-2. This is going to put them 3-2, and most likely will advance at this point with a positive record. At least should be top 4. Navi, they drop to 2-2 if they lose this one. It feels like they might. They'll have one last stand. Funnick and Dendy, they've got their combination on the line, but this base is just exploding. Like, even if they go in right now, by the time they kill them, assuming they could, they lose Rex. I think it's already too late. They'll try for it, though. They'll at least give it one more good old college-fashioned try. But Funnick's just kiting around, or Scandal's just kiting around them now. With Illidan stealing damage, it's going to force a few off the fight. Funnick just gets blown up, and the combo's pretty much useless at this point. Soul Assumption dodged nicely by Dendy, while Illidan continues to chase forward, and FNG will be herded back to the well. The GGs come out from Navi. NVMI just took them to school here. They ended 18-4. They were trailing very slightly, but they held a lead for 20-plus minutes this game as Godblack spanks the team he couldn't coach to a TI championship at TI4. Took him over his knee with that one and showed him who was boss. Good game, guys. That was definitely a good one. Let's see. What do we have coming up next? There may be something in Dota TV. Not 100% sure. I'm going to try to find out, but I think we've got at least one more game coming your way for the Gameshow Dota 2 League. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm LD Beyond the Summit. If you enjoyed my cast, you can follow me on Twitter at LDDota. For VODs, go to youtube.com/BeyondTheSummitTV. This one will be uploading immediately. And of course, for more Dota 2 action, you can check out our Dota Starladder EN channel, twitch.tv, Dota Starladder_EN. Southeast Asia is still going. I think Europe will begin soon, and yeah, lots more Dota coming your way here on Beyond the Summit. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back with more Gameshow Dota 2 League action. Stay tuned.